Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Active Listening with T4 Tactics. I'm your host, Marco Galbraith, and today I want to talk to you. It's just going to be a really short podcast, maybe under 5 minutes, but I want to talk to you about Mark Levine's bill in Virginia, HB 961, which is going to ban assault weapons, suppressors, and magazines, anything over 10 rounds. So if you've made a $450 or $500 purchase of a firearm, a pistol that has more than 10 rounds, you're looking at it maybe a felony in August if Governor Northam, when he calls his General Assembly a special session to go after your guns again. Let me read some of the things that he's going to go after. So this was supposed to be continued in January or February of 2021, but he's going to go ahead and do it. You know, is as if things aren't tense enough in Virginia, I think this governor thinks, what can I do to push more buttons? What can I do to push more buttons of these people in Virginia? I know I'm going to go after guns in August instead of in January of 2021. So what he wants to do is repeal reciprocity in 25 states. Repeal reciprocity in 25 states. That means your Virginia concealed permit will lose 25 states of the, I believe right now they're 32. It fluctuates all the time, but it's going to go down. They're going to take it down to 25 states. So that's why the Utah concealed multi-state permit is extremely important to get right now. If this goes through in August, you'll have that as a backup plan for 37 states right now. The Utah multi-state concealed permit. We've got one running July 25th. We get another one August 8th. We're probably going to have more than that in between this date and then, because a lot of people are getting that, and it's a much needed backup permit to have if something happens to our Virginia permit. So he's going to repeal reciprocity in 25 states, which makes no sense at all. He's going to shut down, he wants to shut down indoor shooting ranges. He wants to restrict outdoor shooting ranges. There are millions of people in this country that don't just go to the gun range to practice for self-defense, which is the Second Amendment. There are people that take their families. I know because I've met them, I've trained them. There's people that take their families for recreational shooting, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts clubs, women's self-defense chapters. There's fathers that take their kids to teach them recreation of shooting. It's not just a bunch of self-defense people going to the range and shooting. It's recreation. It's a hobby. It's an outlet. So he wants to restrict that. He wants to take away open carry in vehicles. He wants to have proof of firearms training before you purchase a firearm. It's always good to have some type of training to purchase a firearm, but our Second Amendment, the U.S. Constitution, does not say anything about you have to have training. It's the right to bear arms. So he also wants to add a 10% tax on guns and ammunition. Certain convictions for various misdemeanors, including hate crimes, will take away gun rights. We just saw where two people were painting over Black Lives Matters in the street. They painted over it with black paint, and they were charged with a hate crime. So under Virginia law, you're charged with a hate crime or some other misdemeanors, your gun rights will be taken away. So, you know, it used to be that if you were convicted of a felony, your gun rights could be taken away. Your voting rights could be taken away. He's taking it one step further and going to take away your gun rights for misdemeanors. There's a lot of misdemeanors out there that people can get. Law-abiding citizens can get. A DUI, shoplifting, some city ordinance violations can be handled as misdemeanors. Trespass, some things that good people, innocent people, just find themselves getting mixed up in could be a misdemeanor. So think that one through. It's going to be illegal to have guns in state or local government buildings. There are a lot of local government buildings in this Lynchburg area that can now be restricted. We have a pretty much left or anti-Second Amendment mayor here in Lynchburg and council. Not everybody, but some of them are anti-Second Amendment. I can imagine some of the buildings that will be restricted possession of guns on some of those property. Parks and Recreation, city parks, those are all city buildings. So we've got to watch that one if that passes. It's going to be illegal to carry in Capitol Square or the General Assembly. So it's going to be illegal for us to carry in Capitol Square or the General Assembly in Lynchburg. However, let me make it clear, these politicians that are pushing this through, their bodyguards, their Capitol Police, their state police, they'll still be able to carry firearms because they need to be protected. Not us, they do. The gun stores cannot employ anyone who is prohibited from owning firearms, even a custodian or a janitor. So you've got somebody out there that's trying to do the right thing and trying to work, and they own a cleaning company or they do cleaning. They can't even get a job at a gun range because of their past criminal history. I thought we were forgiving criminal histories. When they serve their time, people do the right thing, get back out, that we should be giving them a fresh start to start all over. So you have to watch this governor. When I was a hostage negotiator for 12 years in my department, and then I taught hostage negotiations, I did and I taught. When you're talking to the bad guy, or the person that's in crisis, suicidal person, you're thinking about, okay, as I'm talking to them, what am I saying? What are they going to say back? And what's going to be my reply to what they say back? So you're always a few steps ahead of them. If you look at what Governor Northam is doing, we, as Second Amendment protectors of the Second Amendment, as gun owners, we have to watch what he's doing and stay 3 steps ahead of him. Everything he's doing here is focused on eventually chipping away at our Second Amendment right. For instance, they'll take the reciprocity away for 25 states. Next thing you know, there's no concealed carry. It's everything is a building block with this man. And if you look back at his prior history, everything is a building block. Governor McSimpleton. So we got to watch this guy. You have to get out and vote. Please share this podcast. If you're watching on Facebook, you can listen to the podcast and share it. It's anchor.fm/T4Tactics. Anchor.fm/T4Tactics. Please share this Facebook post. The main thing I want you to do by sharing this podcast and by sharing this video is we have to get people out to vote. Think about this. People take my gun class for $89 and a 3-hour commitment. They then go get their permit for $50 for a 5-year permit. They go to the gun range, they practice, they purchase close to a $500 gun. They purchase probably a $40 to $60 holster, ammunition. In August, all that investment can be taken away. I'm not talking to Republicans, I'm not talking to Democrats, I'm talking to gun owners. Regardless of what side of the politician scheme or scandal or whatever you're on, think about this. Think about your firearm and your ability to protect your family, or your ability to go out and have recreation, or to have something that you enjoy doing. Think about that, because it could be going away with this governor. You have got to get out and vote. If you're not registered to vote, come by our office at T4 Tactics. I've got paperwork here. I've got a business card of a woman that can walk you through everything. If your business needs registration cards for people to vote, contact me. I'll contact Jennifer Markham is the girl, and she's strong on getting people registered to vote. We have to protect our Second Amendment. We've got to support those politicians that support the Second Amendment. And we've also got to put pressure on our Republicans that are sitting back in the shadows. Absolutely embarrassing. Sitting back in the shadows and doing nothing. There's a lot of them out there. We call them rhinos. So vote. When you go vote to protect your Second Amendment, vote for those that protect the Second Amendment. When you go vote, think about taking 5 to 10 people with you. Vote, vote, vote. You cannot afford to sit back and let this happen in August. Thanks for listening in. Please share it. Please tell your friends about what we've said here today. Tell them about the bullet points that I brought up. It's extremely important.